start over.
Tell people you're Steve.
What's up, guys? It's Metaphors and PTP here from LIFM. We're going to be going over the Commander 2016 decks. We never really got a chance to go over them before. So we're just going to do a video going over those. We're going to be starting with Entropic Uprising. Looks like the main commander for this one is Idris Maelstrom Wielder. And he's a blue-black, red-green for a 5/4 Trampler. He's an Org Wizard. And he has, whenever he does combat damage to a player, as you cast spells from your hand this turn, they gain Cascade. So what do you think about this one?
I think it's a good card. I think it's fairly balanced, being that the Cascades, you don't have access to the Cascade until he attacks or deals damage.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that keeps him in control. And I think, like, with cards like this, you always have to take in consideration how they compare to
Maelstrom Wonder.
To Maelstrom Wonder, of course. But I don't know. How do you feel? Do you think it's fair, or do you think it has the ability to be kind of busted?
No, I think this is pretty fair. Anything with Cascade like this, recurable Cascade, can be potentially broken, but I think on the face, it seems pretty balanced. For one, if you play him turn 4, chances are you're not going to be doing anything right away.
Yeah. So
I can see him being a commander that gets played later on in the game, and then you try to do stuff with him, right? When you can protect him with Greaves or Swiftfoot Boots, you can put a Sword of Feast and Famine on him, which untaps your lands, and then you can do more shenanigans. But I think it's okay. I like the color combination. You run a couple blue, green, red decks yourself,
yeah,
right?
I like that color combination.
Yeah. So, and you're just running that, and you're adding black, which only gives you more options, more removal, more card draw. So I think it's a solid card.
I think it's really interesting because it has the potential to be very strong, but there's also the counterplay, right? There's ways to kind of prevent it from going off, and you kind of have to be careful. You can't just play this and go off. You kind of have to be ready to take advantage of it.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm saying I can see him being a commander that gets played later on in the game, not necessarily turn 4 or turn 5. So I like it, and I like the color combination a lot. Let's see what cards are in the deck. So you got Satyr or Setir, whatever you want to pronounce it, Wayfinder. It's a 2-mana 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. It's an okay card. In the right decks, it's a really good card.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're going for with this build, but it seems fine as a 2-drop. Right? I don't know what you think. It's a reprint. That's why I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But
I mean, I think it's an okay card, especially if you're trying to go for some kind of graveyard theme. So I think you gotta see how the rest of the deck unfolds.
Next we have Wall of Blossoms, which there's nothing bad for me to say. It's a 2-drop. It's a 0/4 blocker, and it cantrips. It's a good card.
Decent. Yeah.
Coil and Oracle. So I'm starting to see a theme with the 2-drops or the lower drops. A lot of drawing cards or similar type effects. Coil and Oracle is just another really good card.
Just very good. I mean, I think this is just a really good card. In these color combinations, almost a must include, because if you play it and drop a land, the value is just ridiculous.
And you're running 4 colors.
Yeah.
Right? So
exactly.
Anything to help get those colors online is good. Okay, so this is one of the new partner mechanic commanders from the set. And this one is green-blue for a 1/3. It's a Merfolk Wizard. And 4 mana, no tap. Scry 1, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, draw a card.
I mean, it's similar to the Oracle. You have to activate it, but when you do activate it, then you get the Scry and it's reusable.
It's recoverable. I mean, turn 8, end of your opponent's turn.
Yeah.
Scry, do it. Scry, do it.
I mean, I think the Scry is really underestimated because the Scry really increases the likability that you ramp, right?
Yes,
I mean,
it does.
Even if we don't go turn 8, if you drop this turn 2 and then 4th turn, you scry and ramp yourself.
It's good.
It's good, yeah.
And if it's turn 8 and you don't want to land, I mean,
yeah,
you can put that to the bottom. I think this is solid. And one of the things I was worried about, I don't know about you, the partner mechanic, I was concerned of them allowing you to have 2 commanders. This seems low-key enough.
I mean, if they're in this power range, I can kind of understand the 2 commanders.
Not saying it's a bad card.
No, it just, with 2 commanders, you have to be very careful because I think with EDH, the fear is, you know what, this commander and nothing in this set of cards, but if the partner mechanic is to continue down the line, that's where things may get wonky if they forget a card and then all of a sudden you find a combination of partners that are really...
Absolutely. But this is good, and personally, I'm not a fan of 2 commanders or planeswalkers as commanders and stuff like that. But this is...
It's not even a fan. I just kind of feel like the whole point of EDH is that it's a player-defined format.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think Wizards should be able to dictate for us the rules. You know, they dictate the rules for standard, modern, and all that. I kind of like the feeling of this is like a fan-defined rule.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? Your play group can definitely say no partner mechanic commanders, right? They can say no planeswalker commanders. Our play group won't, for obvious reasons, but your play group has the ability to do that, right? So they can definitely circumvent Wizards if they choose to. All right, moving on. Goblin Spy Master is a 3-mana 2/1 with first strike. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, that player creates a 1/1 red goblin creature token with creatures you control attack each turn available. So it's an okay card. As far as this deck goes, he could work well with this commander. Because whatever token they get is forcing them to attack. Yeah, attack with all their creatures each turn available. It does say at the opponent's end step.
Yeah.
So they will have a blocker, or at least a blocker, right? The first turn this comes out, they're good that turn. The next turn,
but your
the token
tramples, though. It
does. That's what I was gonna get to. The token and everything else attacks.
Yeah.
They'll be left with 1 token. Your commander tramples over, so you can still potentially get through. I like this card. It's nothing special here. I'm sure there's decks where this could be very, very strong. And we got Spellhard Chimera, 3-mana. I kind of don't think this is a new card, now that I'm actually looking at it. It might not be a new card, but anyways. Generic blue-red, X power 3 toughness, flying trample, and the power is equal to the number of instant and sorceries in your graveyard. What do you think about this one?
I think it's an interesting card. Of course, you have to have the right deck, being that it's the instant and sorcery part. But in a deck that's able to play a lot of instant and sorceries, I think it's versatile in that it can be good early game if you only have 1.
It can be very good late game.
And it could be very good late game if you have a deck with a lot of instant sorcery. I mean, if it's anything over 5,
it's strong.
It's very strong.
It's already strong right there. Yeah. And I know a certain NIM player that, I mean, they probably wouldn't play this because it has to attack, but be really good in that person's deck.
Yeah.
Right? No names or anything. Okay, so this one has partner as well, so I'm guessing this is the partner
for
lack of a better word of this one. So it's a 3-mana 2/3. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, he does damage equal to that spell's converted mana cost to an opponent at random. What do you think about that one?
I think it's interesting. I think the wording is very interesting in that it deals damage to an opponent at random, so kind of with different...
In bigger games.
I mean, but also in different formats too, right? It's an opponent at random. And I like the card. It's 3 mana cost, which, I mean, lets it be played early, so you can kind of take advantage if you're trying to go for a rush down theme. And I think the ability is underestimated.
It's a good ability. There's a 7-mana 5/4, same colors, that when your opponent plays a spell, they take damage equal to its converted mana cost. So this is kind of an offset of that. This is weaker.
Yeah.
But it's also a much cheaper card. And you control what spells do the damage, so to speak. in a 1v1 game, all the damage is going to one person.
Yes.
Right? So this isn't bad. And paired with this, gives you a lot of options for extra colors.
Yeah. Right?
Blue runs a lot of spells. And green runs a decent amount of spells. I like it. This is solid. I mean, yeah, they're both solid cards. This is probably a bit stronger on the surface. But I think, on the low, this is a stronger card.
You think it had to be the first spell each turn?
I do.
Yeah.
I can see this going out of control
if it wasn't
the first spell only. I can see it going out of control really quickly. I can see people building entire decks around it.
Yeah.
And even if it's one and you're cantripping and doing damage, it could go
out of control.
Really easy. So I do like the stipulation of that. Academy Elite. Academy Elite enters the battlefield with X one counters on it, where X is the number of instant and sorcery. So this is starting to seem like a theme.
Yeah.
This is in all graveyards, though.
Yep.
Really? Remove one counter from Academy Elite, draw a card. Okay, so it doesn't draw a card. It loots. So you draw and discard. But this could be really big.
It could get big. I mean, it does loot, which...
This is a new card, right? I've never seen this before.
I believe this is new. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, actually, the loot mechanic... It seems like it might have a place in this deck.
It's starting to look like there's a graveyard element, so there could be things you want in the graveyard, right?
Okay, Gamekeeper. We all know Gamekeeper. When it dies, you can exile it. If you do reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card, put it onto the battlefield, and all the other ones into your graveyard. So again, more graveyard mechanics. Sangromancer, which is actually a kind of a favorite of mine. I don't think we need to go over it, but it's a 4-mana 3/3 flyer. When an opponent, creature an opponent control dies, you gain 3 life. When they discard a card, you gain 3 life. So it's just a solid card. I play it.
Yeah.
Bloodbraid Elf. I mean, I'm sure we all expected this to be in the deck. It's just a good card. There's not really much to say about it. It's a 4-mana 3/2 with haste and cascade. It'll get you stuff like this and this and this. And if this is in your deck for some reason, this. Or this, or this, or this, so...
I mean, the options for Bloodbraid Elf are quite...
They're good. Usually it's a cantrip or a search for a land or something you get from it. It's a good card. So this isn't a reprint either. 4-mana 3/2 flying trample. When you draw a card, you gain a life. Horizon Chimera.
Flash too.
Flash as well. Yes. This was a solid card when it came out. It's still a solid card in this deck as well, right? It's a flyer. It tramples, which is starting to seem like a theme in this deck as well. So just a decent card. There's another partner in here. Are we in the same deck?
Yep, there can be more than 2 partners.
I didn't know. I thought they'd just have like the 2 in there. Okay, so Kaidel, Chosen of Krufix. So it's a 2 generic green blue for 2/3. Add colorless to your mana pool for each card you've drawn this turn. And this deck seems to be leaning on the side of drawing cards giving you the ability to draw cards. What do you think of this one?
I think it's interesting. I don't know how well you can take advantage of it in this deck, but I think in this deck you want to be casting a lot of cards. I don't know how much you're going to need colorless mana.
So I'll say this, right? In this deck, this could sync well with the commander to help you cast extra things. The main commander. Outside of this deck, I could see people building around this card.
Yeah, if you build around it, yes.
As a commander.
Yeah. But your deck list would be differently in
it would be much different. So we're not just talking about this card for this deck. We're talking about this card as a whole because it's one of the new cards, right?
Yeah, okay. I can see. I think this card is good as a whole. I just don't know in this deck per se if it's the best card.
True. How much would this actually sync with this? You don't draw cards from this. Well, you can draw cards from this, but it costs 2. I do think, where is it? I do think this card has some potential. Probably more if it's built around.
I mean, especially the resurgence of colorless.
Yes. Yes, especially with that.
Yeah.
They actually put a Nephilim in here. I guess they figured we're finally doing 4 colors. Why not? I don't even really want to read this. I don't think any of them were really good.
I don't know.
Anyways.
Just for a second, I don't know why they couldn't get these cards to be good. I honestly understand. I mean, I think when you're balancing power level, the fact that you have to cast 4 distinct mana colors,
it should do stuff.
Should give it something. Like, I mean, triple cards are so powerful. Shouldn't 4 cards be even more powerful? But like, it
You're
seems
preaching to the choir.
I honestly, it's just something that's bothered me for a long time. I don't understand why they can't make these cards stronger.
And they're not even legendary, so they can't even be commanders for the colors.
Yeah.
Which is why it's good that they made these decks with these colors as the commanders. But anyways,
it's just something that's been frustrating me for a while.
When he deals combat damage to a player, draw that many cards. That's not a bad ability.
No.
Whether or not this guy is ever going to hit someone is a different story. As a 4-mana 2/2.
That's the...
Discard a card for 1, and he gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This card seemed decent until I read the second ability. Now, granted, if you're drawing enough cards, this guy could do something. I just think there's better cards that draw cards from doing damage for less.
I mean, I think, honestly, it should get 1+1 anytime you discard a card. That's me personally, but...
I think they put this in because it was the same colors.
Yeah, they put it in because it matched the colors.
It's not a good card, in my opinion.
I think we spent way too much time on that.
Alright. Aeon Chronicler. This is a solid card.
Yeah.
Alright, this is a card I've used before. You suspend it, and it's even better, really, because you get to draw extra cards from it. I'm not going to spend too much time on that one. Guild Feeder. This used to be a favorite of mine back in the day, back in high school. Attacking with the 0/4. Which actually reminded me of Eternal. Like, you cannot attack with creatures that have 0 power.
Which is an interesting rule, yeah.
But yeah, Guild Feeder is a good card. People sleep on this one. Until they realize they're taking way more than
this card's a really good card. I mean, especially since we're having a graveyard theme going. It's in there. It's in his or her graveyard.
It is in their graveyard, but it's still a solid card. Consuming Aberration, similar thing. Power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your opponent's graveyards. So it can be pretty big. Whenever you cast a spell, each opponent reveals the top card of their library until he or she reveals a line card. You think I'd remember this card? It's been used against me so many times. Anyways, and they put those cards into their graveyard. So this is a solid card. It's a big body more than anything. There's no evasion.
I like this card. Honestly,
it's a good card.
I mean, I think this card should be in my Mimeoplasm deck, probably. I'm trying to get away from the XX, but...
I don't know if you have a lot of room left in that deck.
No, but that's a problem with that deck, but I think...
This could be big, so yeah. This could be good in that deck.
And it lets you mill as well. So, I mean, I think you'd have to look at it, but it's a decent card.
It is. It's a solid card. Nath's a good card. It's just a good card.
Yeah.
It's a 5-mana 4/4 at the beginning of your upkeep. You may have target opponent discard a card at random. Strong. Random is strong. Right? And whenever an opponent discards a card, you can get a 1/1 elf.
Yeah. It's self-explanatory. Yeah.
Runehorn Hellkite. This might be new. 6-mana 5/5 flyer. Pay 6, exile him from your graveyard. Each player discards their hand and draws 7 cards. Okay, so it's a wheel and deal effect.
Mm-hmm.
It's an okay card.
I mean, I think the fact that you can access it from your graveyard fits with the theme of the deck, right?
You know what else it does?
You don't have to get it into play. Okay, I guess, yes.
Right? You pay 6 and wheel and deal, and then you can add 6 mana to your mana pool afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, decent card. It's better if you're built around it. But if you have no cards in hand, it just seems solid too.
Yeah.
Right?
Wheel of Deal and Ready DH is great.
Yeah, or if some asshole just tutored.
Yeah.
His Wheel of Deal seems good. Okay, so this is the second biggest Cascade creature in the game, I believe. So it's a 6-mana 3/6 with Cascade, and you can return to your hand. So you can Cascade again.
It's just good.
Yeah, it's just a good card.
Yeah.
Now, we're getting to the bottom here. Maelstrom Wonder is not in this deck.
They're not giving that for you in the $34 price.
Yeah, apparently not. Dragon Mage is the same thing. It's wheeling dealing.
I mean, this card... I mean, ever since...
This card's won me games.
It's won... Ever since Scourge, I don't know how to feel about this card, man. Like, it's...
This card in my... What the hell is her name? In my Kalia deck is really good.
It's really... Yeah, it's good in Kalia. Yeah.
Filling your hand back up. But this seems to be right in line with what they're doing with this deck.
Yeah.
Right? You get stuff in your yard for I don't know what reason yet. But you get stuff in your opponent's yard.
My only worry with this is you have this in hand and you can't attack with it because you don't want to mess up the Cascade you have set up from your commander.
True. I will say this though. You cast this guy after attack with your commander. That's a big Cascade.
After, yeah.
At 7.
That is very true.
And Blood Tyrant. Alright, this is a solid card as well. So it's 7 mana, 3 colors, Grixis, and 4 generic. It's a 5/5. Flying Trample. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player loses 1 life. Put a 1/1 counter on him for each life lost this way. Whenever a player loses the game, put 5 1/1 counters on him.
I mean, I think thematically it's really good.
Yeah? Yeah. We don't have to go into too much detail. It's just a decent card.
I like to put 5 counters when someone dies, though. That's interesting.
It's a real thing. You're playing 4, 5, 6 player games. People are going to die.
And not just that. I like the theory, like, someone's done, he's ready to finish it. This guy's going for blood, man.
So he's bigger for the next person.
Yeah, like, he's not trying to make this game drag out, man. He's trying to just...
So we're going to the sorceries, and right off the bat, like, they're not wasting any time. No. It's a wheeling deal. We go down again. It's another wheeling deal.
Yep. Windfall's so good.
This a new card? 3 mana, destroy target creature. You draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the number of counters on that creature. That seems highly specific.
It's very specific.
This might be a new card.
I like the versatility that you can destroy the creature. It doesn't matter if the counter.
Yeah, you can still destroy the creature.
You just get. But I think what's good about this is with creature. If you have creatures with 1/1 counters, it can be a way also to get you more cards, right?
So here's my problem with this card. If the creature doesn't have any counters on it, this is a worse version of other removal spells because it's a sorcery.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that it's a sorcery.
Right. So that's my problem with it. On the plus side, it's 1 black as opposed to 2. Murder and other really good just destroy a creature, because this doesn't say destroy a non-black creature.
Yeah, there's no specification. Yeah.
So the 1 black makes it a lot more splashable if you're playing the 4-color commander.
You're right. You have to have some means to access the abilities for you to play it, right?
It's an okay card. If you're facing a deck with counters on stuff, it's a really good card.
But then you lose a life, right? That's the thing.
It's black. We're willing to lose life to draw cards. Yeah. You know this.
But I mean, with the situationality of it, I don't know why you really have to be losing life.
You draw X cards and you lose X life, or X is the number of counters on that creature. So if there's no counters, you don't lose any life.
Yeah. I think it's really to stop you from abusing it on your own creatures, right?
It's an okay card.
Yeah.
It's an okay card. It's a 3 mana removal that's highly splashable in a 4-color deck. And it's a sorcery, which is really the biggest downside to me.
That's bad.
Far Wanderings, you're just searching for lands.
That's always good.
Past in Flames. So, you're running 20 sorceries in this deck. So I'm guessing Passing Flames is gonna be good. Right?
I agree.
It's gonna be pretty good. I don't think we need to go over Passing Flames too much.
You can figure out how to use it.
Just look at all this stuff in here, and then you can
figure
cast
out
them
what
again.
you want to play again.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, Whispering Madness. This is a good card.
I like this card.
You don't like it?
I said I like this card.
Okay,
I play this card.
So this is a good card. I don't think we need to go over this one too much as either. Cypher is strong on this one.
Cypher is very strong.
Yeah. Decimate's actually really good. It gives you a lot of options. You can destroy artifact, creature, enchantment, and land. You do need to be able to target them.
That's where it gets. That's what a lot of people don't realize when they do this card is that sometimes not all of these are in play.
It's not like the 6-mana green one where you can choose one or all.
You have to destroy each.
In this, you have to be able to target all.
At least target each.
Yeah.
At least target each.
The green one, you don't have to do all of them. You choose, but it also costs 2 more. This is still a good card. I mean, in a 4-player game, 3+ player game, I think you're going to be able to cast this card.
I think the enchantment's
going to be the hardest one.
The hardest one, yeah.
In our play group, anyway.
I mean, at any time, there's enough enchantments in our play group. I just think there's not always going to be an enchantment in play.
Well, land's always going to be online.
Yeah, land is usually going to be some kind of creature.
And artifacts are abundant.
They're abundant enough. That's it.
So it's enchantment. I think you wait long enough, you're going to get...
Though the thing is, when you're casting this card, you're usually trying to hit an artifact or enchantment.
Yes. I mean, there could be a problem creature.
There could be a problem creature, but most times I find if you have a deck, you have some other way to deal with the creature.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like, when I run a card like this, I'm kind of looking for the whole versatility. I'm usually trying to knock out a wide range of threats, right?
Well, I know in our play group for sure, you're going to get a good land.
Oh, for sure, you're
going to get a good creature. It's a good card.
Right. It's
a good card. Devastation Tide is also a good card. It saved my life many times.
And many miracles.
it's been many miracles. It's just a solid card. Reforge the Soul, again, it's another wheel and deal with a miracle.
Yeah.
Worm Harvest, that's actually not a bad card. It has Retrace, so more graveyard shenanigans. Basically, you can cast it from your graveyard if you discard a land and pay its mana cost. So you create a 1/1 black and green worm creature token for each land card in your graveyard, which is interesting because the ability allows you to put more land cards into your graveyard.
Yeah.
Spelltwine, solid card. This deck runs a lot of sorceries now that I'm looking at it. Whims of the Fates. Do I know this card? Starting with you, each player separates all permanents he or she controls into 3 piles. Then each player chooses one of his or her piles at random and sacrifices these permanents. I know people that were going to like this card. I don't really want to talk about this card. Seems fine. Grave Upheaval. Put target creature card from a graveyard into the battlefield under your control. It gains haste. This is a good card. Now it costs 6, but it also has basic land cycling, right? Which means you can tutor for any basic land,
especially in this deck.
And it's a creature from a graveyard.
Yeah.
Not just yours, and you give it haste.
And it stays.
Yeah, exactly. There's no sack end of turn. Cruel Entertainment. I don't think I've ever seen this before. 7-mana sorcery. Choose target player and another target player. The first player controls the second player during the second player's next turn. And the second player controls the first player during the first player's next turn.
I mean, I like this card just because it causes so much chaos.
Okay.
So you
can choose
player.
yourself.
You can choose yourself, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You can choose yourself if you want to.
I mean, what makes this card really interesting is like the pentagram format.
I was thinking about that the whole time because we've been doing that a lot recently.
Right, because you can either choose your 2 opponents, or you can choose an opponent and an ally.
Yes.
And it can be very interesting, the outcomes when you look at it.
Absolutely. Seems like a fun card.
The 7 is high. I mean, I guess it has
it's 2 turns being controlled.
Yeah, but not by you, right? Because if
you can choose you. Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
you are. Ghastly Conscription. I don't think this is new. Exile all creature cards from target player's graveyard in a face down pile. Shuffle that pile, then manifest those cards.
I like the art though.
Yeah, I don't think this is new. Yeah, it seems okay.
Yeah. When is manifest? When are people gonna find a way to break manifest?
I don't know. I mean, it's not a lot of plain
there were the green white.
Yeah. They really went in on it back then. Volcanic Vision. 7 mana sorcery. Return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Volcanic Vision deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to each creature your opponents control. Exile Volcanic Vision. It seems good.
I like it.
You can return Cruel Entertainment.
You could definitely
do 7 damage to all your opponent's creatures and then Cruel Entertainment.
I mean, I play the other one from the old Commander set, the green-red one. I think it's 6, and it returns one. Same thing.
Oh yeah.
It returns any card.
Yeah, and it exiles itself. And
yeah,
it does the
damage just to creature
just
or
one
player.
thing.
One thing, creature or player.
I play that too.
I mean, I think this is good because it's a board wipe, right?
It is a board wipe.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But it's a control. And the good thing is it's a controlled board wipe, right?
Yeah, just your opponent.
Yeah, you could have. Oh, is this your opponent too?
Let me see.
Yeah, it's only wow.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. I didn't even. Sorry, I misread that. So yeah, it's even better. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just one. It's all your opponents.
Yeah.
So again, pentagram shape. This is strong.
Strong, yes.
Signals dropping.
Treasure Cruise.
I'll cut it out after this one. Treasure Cruise. I don't think anyone doesn't know what Treasure Cruise does. It's a good card.
Is the card good?
And apparently, in the
graveyard, it's so even shocking. Better. Yeah.
Treacherous Terrain, 8 mana. Treacherous Terrain deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of lands that.
That sounds very fair. I like that. Sometimes some people have too many lands. You know when you're struggling to play something that costs 6 and you look over and the guy has like 14 lands.
I've been that guy.
Yeah.
I've had 14 lands on turn 4. Turn 5. So this, I'd be really pissed if someone played this against me in those games. But yeah, I like this card. It has basic land cycling. So early game, if it's a dead card, you can make it not a dead card.
Well, when you draw an 8 casting cost card early game, you're happy that it has land cycling.
Yes, absolutely. Army of the Damned is a good card.
Just good, yeah.
Yeah, you need to go over it. And it has, I don't know why, but it has flashback.
Because the cards come in play tapped.
So...
I mean, it takes away any haste element or anything like that, right?
But it has flashback.
Yeah, that's why it has flashback, because they come into play tapped. And it costs 8.
I mean, this is good.
I mean, 13's a lot, though.
That's what I'm saying.
13's a lot, though.
That's why I'm saying it really has flashback. Okay, in Garrick's Wake, destroy all creatures you don't control and all planeswalkers you don't control. So this is the same casting cost as Plague Wind, except it's a better card. Because it destroys planeswalkers you don't control as well. Yeah. Now, Plague Wind does say the creatures can't be regenerated.
Which is big, yeah.
I think that's not going to be relevant.
Well, not when you're hitting planeswalkers. But I mean, everything. I mean, for 9, you like them not to be able to regenerate it.
Well, I want you to think about when's the last time in our play group regeneration was relevant in a board wipe situation.
There's been time. I'm not going to think about it. I can't come off the top of my head. There's got to be something good with regeneration.
Oh, I'm sure, but there's not that many things.
No.
Someone might be playing Thrun, and then what else?
I mean, they kind of cut back on the regenerate.
A lot.
There used to be a lot more creatures that regenerate. Yes. It's kind of... I think they've noticed that
it's not in a lot of cards that are played in EDH.
No.
I can think of Thrun, I can think of Sylvos, and I can't think of that many others. Spiritmonger.
They're out there when you start to really think about it, but I mean...
If you put some thought into it, there's probably some black cards out there that...
I mean, like, lately they've definitely kind of... It used to be a much more common ability.
Absolutely. So we only have 7 instants versus like the 20 sorceries. Chain of Vapor, good card. Rakdos Charm, good card. You have the option here, and I think this is an ability that a lot of people sleep on, is that last ability. Each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. This is 1-me games against token decks. It is just straight up 1-me game. This is a very understated and underestimated charm. Right? You can exile a graveyard. You can destroy an artifact. Yeah. And the third ability isn't one that's used very often. But
situationally, yes.
Against the right decks, it could. Sometimes someone's at 1. Sometimes.
Well, I mean, like you said, in token deck.
Mm-hmm. Chaos Warp. We all know Chaos Warp. We all have stories. You know, I was a guy that someone put a 3-mana creature from me into my deck, and I got a Grave Titan on turn 3, and then I won the game. Yeah. So everyone has a story like
Heard that story.
everyone has a story like that.
I think Chaos War is an interesting card because with the new rules with commanders, it's not as good as it used to be.
No, it's not. But I'll tell you one thing. If someone has a card out, I'll take my chances in what they get from Chaos War.
No, yeah, but it made it much more situational card, right?
Absolutely. Because this was its strongest against commanders.
It was very much the strongest.
And now with the option to say, I'm going to...
The thing is, it gave Red an elite removal. It really gave Red a when it was under the old rules, this was... It really kind of made you against a red deck worry about playing your commander.
Well, it was one of the strongest removal spells in Commander at the time, right? Now, that being said, red can't be too picky when it comes to enchantments and stuff. So this is still a good card for red. They're still going to use it.
Because, the fact that it's permanent.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of ways of dealing with certain things outside of colorless cards. Yeah. So this is still going to be used. It's still solid. Ancient Excavation. Draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand, and discard a card for each card drawn this way. You're trying to put stuff into your yard from what we've seen. And it has basic land cycling.
This deck might mill itself. I'm kind of weird.
It could. It could. I feel like Mimeoplasm could be in this deck.
It could be in this deck for sure.
I really do. Evacuation, because sometimes you gotta return shit.
So you gotta retreat.
Yeah. Litmus Blast, I have always liked this card. It's a 5-mana instant with Cascade. I mean, that's pretty solid. That opens up this. I won't even go through how many of these it opens up. Right? And it does 4 damage to a creature. And then Curtain's Call, 6 mana, Undaunted. So it costs 1 less for
each opponent.
Destroy 2 target creatures. Okay.
I like this.
I mean, even without Undaunted, 2 target creatures, no specification on colors or anything.
At the worst, it's 5 for kill 2 creatures.
Exactly. He's going to be at least one opponent. Yeah.
Unless you're playing by yourself. But
that's a whole other story.
Then you're guaranteed to win, right? So.
Yeah, I like this card. This is new. I've never seen this before.
I think it's new.
Yeah, I like that. And as usual, they're giving us Soul Rings because why not?
The new wording on the Soul Ring always throws me off.
What, the mana?
The 2, yeah, I don't know. It's just not right.
It looks different, but you know why they do it.
I know why they do it. It's relevant, but yeah.
Fellow Stone, Rakdos Signet, Simic Signet, Chromatic Lantern. Alright, that's a good addition.
Yeah.
That's actually really good. In a 4-color deck, you draw this, you're smiling.
You are definitely.
You're smiling because you're definitely casting your commander next turn. Yeah. If you want to.
If you need it.
Commander Sphere, add 1 mana to your mana pool of any color in your commander's colors. So just solid there. And you can sack it to draw a card. Cloak.
It's perfect for this commander.
It's funny because I was mentioning all the other protection equipment and I never mentioned this is probably the best one.
It's definitely the best.
Because it gives him even more evasion than just trample, right?
I mean,
he's hidden.
The only thing it doesn't give him is haste.
It does not, but he's hidden. If he attacks, he's hidden unless they destroy all creatures somehow. And a Boom Pile. Flip a coin. If you win the flip, destroy all non-land permanents.
Sounds fantastic.
Alright. I mean, why not?
I like flipping coin. There needs to be more coin flip cards, man. Like
they've cut down on the coin flipping.
They don't like the randomness. Man.
I remember on Odyssey Block, there was a lot of coin
getting out
flipping.
of control, man.
It was a bit too much.
There was that card that doubled. Whenever you flip a coin, you could flip 2 coins.
That's when you knew that there was too much coin flipping.
That's when it got out of control. Yeah.
When they were making cards like that, you know there was a lot of card flipping. Okay, Bergonian, good card. Waste not. Actually, this card's a really good card.
Was it whenever an opponent?
This card's a creature card, you get a zombie. Whenever an opponent discards a land card, you can add 2 black to your mana pool. Whenever an opponent discards a non-creature, non-land card, you draw a card. So it's actually not a bad card. Actually not a bad card at all. So, how many wheel and deal effects did we see in this deck? So, if you have this out, and any of those wheel and deal effects goes off, you're smiling.
This is not a new card?
No, this is not a new card. I think it was in M15 or some. I don't remember.
I miss this card because I have a wheel and deal deck. This would be
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 wheel and deal, and this card paid for itself 7 times. Depending on how many cards they have in the end, of course. But still, this is just a really strong card if you're doing a wheel and deal effect. And Frenzied Fugu, if that's how you say it. It's actually a enchant permanent. When it enters a battlefield or at the beginning of your upkeep, gain control of enchanted permanent until end of turn. Untap that permanent, it gains haste until end of turn. Yeah.
Kill Commander ultimate and
why not?
I mean steal a planeswalker and ultimate.
It seems like a thing you can do.
That would be a pretty cool thing to do.
Ash Baron. This is actually a good card. Because it doesn't come into play tapped.
Yep.
Right? And you can basic land cycle it for 1. So you can actually get a colored mana if you want. Command Tower is self-explanatory. Crumbling Necropolis is really good in this deck. Dismal Backwater, Evolving Wilds. Exotic Orchid is good here as well. Chances are your opponents, unless they're playing mono white,
you're
getting some color from this, right? Frontier Bivouac, 3 more of your colors. Jungle Hollow, Oppotent Palace, 3 more of your colors. Not a fan of the Karu lands.
They have a weakness.
The weakness is you do all these things and then someone destroys it.
Yeah.
That's the weakness. I see they've made it uncommon now. They used to be common, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they should leave that. Reliquary Tower. This is good. Especially if you're going to be doing all the shenanigans you're going to be doing in here. Rugged Highlands. Rupture Spire. Rupture Spire is decent. It's no command tower, but it's solid.
I think it's a card that some people came along on.
I mean,
it does.
It's that one turn, but after that one turn,
it slows you down the one turn.
But after that,
yeah, I mean, certain people didn't like it. But.
Yeah, I can see that. I get it. It's definitely slow.
Yeah, I mean, I
You've always played it since it came out.
Yeah,
but I definitely think that one turn could matter.
The one turn could matter, but
after that turn, it's irrelevant.
I mean, if you're gonna compare it strictly to Command Tower.
If I'm comparing strictly to Command Tower, it's actually not horrible. With the recent changes, now that you can tap for other colors.
All the other colors. Yeah, that's true.
Right? Oh. Savage Lands is 3 more of your colors. You get your junk colors there. Oh, okay. Shadow Bloody Ridge. Another Karu. It seems like there's so many of these 2-color lands now that it's very easy for them to cover their bases with that.
Yeah.
So what do you think of the Entropic Uprising deck?
I like the theme.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know in practice how, when we go through the whole deck list, how it plays out.
I was thinking the same thing. I got the wheel and deal stuff that they're trying to do and all that stuff, but I don't know how what they're trying to do with that and the main commander.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't see how it all works and how, like, a lot of the command decks especially the last one, played as a pre-made. This feels like it needs a lot of work.
Yeah, I don't know how this would actually play out in practice.
Yeah.
But I like a lot of the cards, and they're giving a lot of solid cards in here. Let's do Open Hostility. Okay, so this one is black, green, red, white. And he's a 3/4. Human soldier, vigilance, haste. As Saskia the Unyielding enters a battlefield, choose a player. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to the chosen player. Now, I already like this card. What do you think of this?
I love this card. I mean, I love the humans, so it's always a thing I like.
What are you? You're a racist? You don't like other races?
No, I always felt like the human deck was a missing element in Magic. Cause like until they made the human creature type, it made no sense. Cause we had warriors, we had barbarians, and then we had like cards that were just drawn to be human and just had some random creature type. So I think that was a quality of life update. It was huge for me in that sense. And this card, I mean, it's good. There needs to be more rushdown or more like creature based abilities in EDH.
Mm-hmm.
I think this gives that right.
Yeah.
I think you need more options. I feel like there's so much more control options, and you're almost the control options are usually better.
And I like beating people down.
Yeah, I think this gives you this fact. I mean, it gives you haste, it gives you vigilance.
So immediately, I don't want to cut you off, but immediately what I'm thinking is pentagram shape, which you've been doing a lot.
Yeah.
I'm thinking immediately, you can choose one of your not enemies here, right?
Yeah, it's not an enemy, actually. That's true, yes.
It says target player.
Yep.
Actually, it says a player, so you can choose anyone, even if they have hexproof.
Choose yourself if you really want.
Yeah, so you can damage. You can choose when you play him.
Yeah. Damage
an opponent, and if this person, your ally, quote unquote, is gonna win, you can target them with this, and you can deal with them while doing that.
Actually, yeah, when you bring it that way, it definitely brings new layers.
It's come up before.
It definitely has come up
where before. You have an ally that's really gonna kill your ally on the other side and win before you.
Or not even that. Even just in bigger EDH games, there's a lot of times there's a guy whose physical defenses he's not able to get damage through on him.
This will work.
This is a means to kind of circumvent that.
And it actually says whenever a creature you control, not necessarily Saskia.
Yes. It's any creature.
Yeah. So you can have a board of like 8/8s or something, and then just play this that turn.
And then yes.
I like this. I actually like this one. It seems more practical than the previous one. It seems more practical than this to me. As far as the color combination, you have white, black, and green, which means you can deal with anything in the entire game. Right?
It's the right color combination for the ability too.
So. Absolutely. Vigilance comes from one thing. The haste comes from the red. Yeah, it makes sense. I like this one a lot. I'm intrigued. I don't think this one's going to be running a lot of instants and sorceries. Okay. White of Precinct 6 is a 2-mana 1/1 zombie. Gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your... What?
Yeah.
Why does that seem so strong?
It's not. I mean...
Are you sure?
Is it all graveyards?
Yeah, opponent's graveyards.
Okay, that's... Yeah, it can get big.
It seems like a 2-mana creature that could be... large, like really large.
It could get large now.
No, it has no other ability, but that seems... I might be overthinking it, but this seems solid. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it's a beater. It's a beast. It's something big. I think the fact that more times than not, it's either going to be too early for it to be...
Oh, early game, it's not going to be as good as...
You're either going to get it too early, it's going to be a factor, or it's going to be something just big.
We all know Den Protect is a good card.
Like no explanation.
It's another Eternal Witness, which we probably won't see in this deck. Korean Explorer, actually a really good card for a color deck.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this one in a long time.
So old.
Is this Plane Shift?
Yeah, I don't even remember.
That's a swirly one, right?
Yeah, that's Plane Shift.
Yeah, I think that's what it's from. You don't need to explain tri-build or anything. You get I already know. While the 2 drops in the previous deck had a lot of card draw type synergies, this is getting you your colors.
Yeah.
This is specifically trying to get you your colors.
And you choose what you're getting.
Yeah. Again, right? So look, Explorer, definitely not the best card, but I mean, it's hitting your colors and early.
Yeah, it's an early mana ability.
Yeah. We got our Guild Mage here. This is actually a good one, right? Can give +1/+1 and Intimidate until the end of turn. Not bad with an ability like this.
Yeah.
It's not great with a 4-color commander, but it's good with the ability on this 4-color commander. Where is he? And the second ability was it's a sack ability, right?
Yep. You get a 1/1 creature.
X 1/1 creatures, where X is a sacrifice creature's toughness. Yeah, that's good. And you might see some kind of steal effect in here because there is red. It's more mana. Add a green to your mana pool, and whenever you tap her for mana, it deals 1 damage to each opponent.
Another human.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that you have a problem with elves, bro. I like elves. Elves are my creature type in Magic. Elves and demons, which is
there's an elf for you.
Kind of weird, and it's a good card as well. Especially with all this mana you're throwing around. You create a 1/1 elf for 4, and you anthem for 4.
The ramp is so good. That ability is so good.
You have the mana. This card can be a problem.
When you have them,
it can win a game if you have the mana and no one checks it.
Yep.
Because you build an army and you pump the army, right? Mentor of the Meek, good card.
Yeah, it's a solid card.
Mirror Entity, also a good card, especially if you're going to be... this deck seems to have a lot more of the early drops. Mauler's also good. It gets bigger when your opponent plays stuff. We got Mana Gorger Hydra. Whenever a player casts a spell, put a 1/1 counter on the Hydra. So, not as strong as what's his face? The 0/3 Forgotten Ancient.
Yeah, but it tramples.
It tramples. It costs 1 less.
Yeah.
Ancient's 4, right?
It costs 4, yeah.
But it doesn't have the ability to hand those over.
No.
Is Ancient counts your spells as well?
Yeah, I think it's whenever a player casts a spell.
Okay. So yeah, so not as strong as Ancient, but it's up there.
It's not as strong as Ancient, but yeah, it's up. The trample, I think, makes it more of a threat, right?
It can be. It also starts as a 1/1, so it can die a lot easier than Ancient off the bat.
A lot easier than Ancient.
But it does come on a turn earlier, under the best circumstances. Yeah. Good card, is what I was trying to say. Well, you don't use this one, Wild Beastmaster. No. 3 mana 1/1. Whenever Wild Beastmaster attacks, each other creature you control gets +X/+X, where X is its power, or her power.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm guessing we're going to be seeing some equipment or something. Make her bigger?
Probably. I think, yeah, this card you need to really be able to set it up, right?
If you have some tokens in this, it could just be game that turn.
If you have tokens, yeah.
Right?
Well, this card you'd like to make it bigger so that you get a nice ramp on all your creatures, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then with this and your commander, you're almost like you're dealing...
Kill 2 people in one turn?
Doubling whatever your power is, right? Or killing 2 people in 1 turn.
Timna the Weaver. 3 mana, 2/2 lifelink. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you may pay X life, where X is the number of opponents that were dealt combat damage this turn if you do draw X card. So this syncs well with the main commander. It's also a partner card.
Yeah.
So it might actually sync better with one of the other cards in the deck.
Yeah. I mean, on this card, I like this card, to be honest.
Is it because it's a human?
Partially because it's a human. But I mean, it It's got lifelink to kind of gain the life you're paying back.
Is she black?
She is black, yes.
That's a surprise. Hasn't been that many in Magic. This is a solid card. Definitely something that if you want to get the most out of it, you got to play around the ability.
Yeah.
What's a solid card? Wilderness Elemental. Is this new?
I think so. Yes.
Trample. Power is equal to the number of non-basic lands your opponents can... Oh, this could be big. So it's similar to that flyer, the blue-red flyer.
It's similar, yeah.
Alright, but that one's instant and sorceries in your yard.
Yeah.
I don't know about other play groups, but our play group plays a good amount of non-basics. It's usually at least 3 per player.
There is 3 per player, yeah. I mean, this is a lot better, as you said, the more non-basics your group plays, right?
Yeah, definitely. 3 mana, I like it. Doesn't fly or anything else. The flyer also tramples.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with this is it seems more of a later game card because I don't know, early game you're really hoping your opponents play non-basic. That's my one worry is you draw this and then everyone's playing basic lands and you're like...
I'll say this. All things being equal, this is a lot more likely to be a big creature than the flyer. Because the flyer is dependent on your graveyard only, instants and sorceries. While this is just saying, the bigger this game is, the more likely I am to...
Yeah, the bigger the game is, yeah, that's true.
Without doing anything.
Without any effort.
Which is probably why he doesn't have a second ability.
Yeah, exactly.
Dauntless Escort, it's just a good card. I think, Ryan did a deck tech with the deck that has this. It's a good card. It's a good card. There's not much to say about it. I mean, at worst, it's a 3-mana 3/3. Brutal Horde Chief. This is not new. I've seen this before.
Yeah.
There's a whole cycle of them. Whenever a creature you control attacks, the defending player loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. And for 5, creatures your opponents control block this turn if able, and you choose how those creatures block. Okay. Charging Cinderhorn. 4 for a 4-mana 4/2 with haste. At the beginning of each player's end step, if no creatures attack this turn, put a Fury counter on him. Then he deals damage equal to the number of Fury counters on him to that player. This card actually seems fun. What do you think of this card?
It's interesting. I mean, the class is good and the ability is good as well too. So, and it kind of encourages people to attack, right?
Is this new?
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it before. Okay, we got the Hermit here. This isn't a new card either. It's a solid card.
Always love the morph.
Yeah, it makes saplings and it pumps saplings. This is one of the partner creatures. Tana, the Blood Sword, 4-mana 2/2 with trample. Whenever she deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 sapling creature tokens. So she works well with what's her face? Wild Beastmaster, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Also works well with the Commander, actually. Where is she?
Yeah, because if you deal damage twice, you get...
You deal damage twice, you get twice them, right? She's obviously designed around not being a 2/2.
Yes.
I like this card, but I'm very, very biased. 1, towards elves, and 2, towards red-green. I am a big, big fan of Gruul. So I like this card a lot. What do you think of this one?
I like to see her a little bit bigger, but I mean, I like the card.
Remember, it's a partner card. This is probably why they chose it.
I mean, that's why they kept her in check. But
I don't think we need to say much about God cards.
When your creature type is God,
there's not actually a bad God in my opinion. They are, especially the 2 color ones. There's not really a bad one, and this one prevents all damage that will be dealt to attacking creatures you control. And creatures you control have menace. Yeah. Right? So people can't even block them with 1 creature. So it seems really good for this deck.
Perfect for this deck.
This deck's running what? 29 creatures.
Yeah.
7 more than the first one we looked at.
And a lot more aggressive.
A lot more aggressive and token generators.
Yeah.
So this fits right in. And then you go into stuff like this. So again, more token generation. Yeah. Okay, Ravos Soul Render. Flying, it's an Anthem. Oh, it's one of the partner cards.
One of the partners, yeah.
It's a 5-mana 2/2 flyer. Not great there, but it's an Anthem, which is good. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. That's strong.
That is good, yeah.
That's good. This is solid, and I again, this would probably cost 4 if it wasn't a partner card. Yeah. It'd probably be a 3/3.
Yeah.
But this is good.
I mean, 4 for 2, probably 4 for 2/2 still. I mean,
4 for a 2/2 or 5 for a 3/3.
Or 5 for a 3/3, yeah.
Yeah, if it wasn't a partner card. But this is good. I like this. You should like this. It's a human.
I like this. I like the second ability.
It's good. Yeah, the second ability is good.
This guy shanks you in the
ankle shank. The knife is half his body.
It's as big as him, man.
When it attacks creatures you control, gain first strike and death touch until end of turn. I forgot he gave death touch. I remember the first part, but not the death. He fits right into this deck.
Yeah, perfect, yeah.
Fits right into this deck. Thunderfoot Baloth. Trample, landfall, as long as you control your commander, he gets +2/+2, and other creatures you control get +2/+2 and have trample. That's a lieutenant. I mean,
yeah. That's
the definition of a lieutenant.
He pumps all your creatures when your commander's out.
So he's a 7/7 if you have your commander out.
Yeah.
With trample.
And all your other creatures have 2/2 trample. Yeah.
That second part there is really strong.
Really strong.
All your creatures have +2/+2. Yeah, that's really good. Stalking Vengeance, like we all know how good this card is. Yeah. I would assume at this point. 7 mana 5/5 with haste. Whenever another creature you control dies, it deals damage equal to its power to target player. Stonehoof Chieftain, this is new. 8 mana 8/8, trample, indestructible. Whenever another creature you control attacks, it gains trample and indestructible until end of turn. I like this card a lot. 1, it's just a big creature for the mana equal to his power and toughness with upside. This is a good card. This is a good card. I'd play this card. And now you can attack with your army and know they're not dying to removal.
Well, to most removal. But I mean, this card, honestly, I think about this card and I was like, is there any way I can get this to work in Animar? Like, is it?
My first response is, if it costs 1 green, yes.
I mean, there's lots of times it can cost.
That's my point.
It's just, do you want to be drawing an 8 casting cost card early game? Right?
If Animar's out, he's never gonna be 8.
Yeah, but the problem with Animar is you want to draw a hand that lets Animar get big quickly, right? You don't want to be drawing. The problem with those big creatures in Animar is they usually have great functionality towards the deck, but they kind of dictate that you draw very good hands to use them early, right?
I mean, you can playtest it, but the way I'm looking at it is there's times when people don't have something that says sack a creature. No. Or exile target creature. Then this guy's just
there's no doubt that when he gets into play that it's strong. I mean, there's no way I can kind of doubt when it gets into play. Just in that deck, do you want to be drawing an 8 casting cost, or how many 8 casting cards do you want?
I think you'd have to play test. Yeah. The only thing upside I can say for him is he costs 1 green and 7 colorless. Yeah. So if there's ever a card that you want to test, it's something like that.
You love the one colored casting cost. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, I like this card. This is funny. I like that a lot. Primeval Protector is an 11 mana 10/10. Costs 1 less to cast for each creature your opponents control. Okay. Excuse me. And whenever he enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on each other creature you control. Now this one I don't like as much as the other one. It can be fine, especially if you have a bunch of tokens and stuff out there. The more creatures you have out, the better this guy is.
That's your opponent's control. That's why I like this because
No. The second ability.
Oh yes, the second ability. Yeah.
The more creatures you have out, the stronger he is.
Yeah.
When you cast him. I don't like him as much as the other card. I get it though. He could probably come to play for 3 mana.
Yeah.
It's a 10/10, and then you're laughing. Then you have a stupid look on your face.
And you get the pump. I mean, like the second ability too can't be slept on either.
No, it can't.
Especially in this deck.
It could win a game.
Yeah.
It could actually.
Or change a blocking scenario. It's a lot of things that changes, right?
It's not a bad card. I'm not saying that. I'm just not as. I don't have the same feeling I got when I looked at this card. I was smiling immediately when I saw that one. But this is a solid card, and this deck has shown that it's playing a lot of creatures and stuff that makes creatures.
And I mean, if they're gonna try to do anything to you, they're gonna try to play creatures that block you.
Yes.
It's gonna lower its casting.
Absolutely. So we're going into 7 sorceries here versus 20 in the previous deck. It's just a huge difference. Farseek, hitting your lands. Like, this deck is just, it's focused on hitting your lands, hitting your colors. Alright, this is a really good card. And it's good in this deck. You draw a card for each creature you control. We're running 29, and maybe 7, 8 of them make tokens, right? And, Ferocious, you gain 4 life for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Alright, big body.
Big body.
Grave up. Okay, so we have a crossover card here.
Yep.
This was also in the other deck, and it was good in there. It's kind of still good here.
I mean, I think
it's just is.
It's just as good in here, if not better. Really.
Yep. This is a crossover as well. It's still good here.
Yep.
Alright, Clan Defiance. Let's go over this one. It's been a while, so I have to read it for myself too.
Alright, let's go.
So you choose 1 or more.
Yep.
I'm already liking that. So Clan Defiance deals X damage to target creature with flying. Clan Defiance deals X damage to target creature without flying. Clan Defiance deals X damage to target player. I like. I saw a bunch of stuff that search for lands or provides mana, and then I have this card and I can kill a flyer, a non-flyer, and a player. I like
just value.
Yeah, it's just value. And because it's an X card, you choose when it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Right. Lavalanche. I haven't seen this in a while. So it's Jundin X. Deals X damage to target player and each creature he or she controls. So again, it's just one of those one-sided cards.
Yeah.
And we're actually running 12 instants in this deck. I like this deck a lot more than the other one. Terminate. We're just killing stuff. Oh, new art. Okay. This art actually reminds me of God of War. Looks like something that would be in there. And what's it? All suns must set. Right?
Everyone has his time.
There you go. Artifact Mutation, which is a good card.
Yep.
Boros Charm. This is not one of the understated charms. Everyone knows. Everyone knows how good this charm is. And keep in mind, your commander says, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, do it to the chosen player, right? And this can give double strike
and indestructible.
This is just, you don't need to explain why this one is good. With the other charm, we had to go over it. Yeah, this one, you know why it's good.
And it's just 4 damage. It's not even 3. Like,
there's no ability on this where you're like, it's okay. Yeah. No, these are all good abilities right on the surface. Okay, so this is running Aura and Artifact Mutation.
Yeah.
This deck's good. Abzan Charm, which is a really good charm as well.
Yep.
Right? You can exile a creature with power 3 or greater, which is probably what you want to do. Draw 2 cards and lose 2 life, which is good because I'm not trying to discard cards. I'll pay the 2 life to keep the 2 cards.
And the third ability might be relevant in this deck, right?
2 1/1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures. It could be.
Could be. You know what I mean? Normally it's not, but it could be relevant. Yeah.
It definitely could be. This is a strong card. This is absolutely a strong card. We're just throwing all the charms in.
I mean, if they fit the color wheel.
Now, this one is not as strong as Abzan Charm. 3 damage to a creature. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand, which actually that's really good. tap all creatures target player controls. That's actually really good too. The first ability is probably the weakest one on this card.
100% the weakest.
Crackling Doom is really good.
Yeah.
Grab the reins. I expected this. Remember I said you're probably going to see some kind of steel effect in here?
I think that this is kind of showing you where you can build. I mean, I think it's kind of missing the steel via creatures, I think, in the deck list.
I did expect to see at least one.
Yeah, at least one of them.
Yeah, I did. I did. Now, just to remind people with this one, if you choose to entwine...
Please remind people.
You do not get to attack. Okay? If you choose to entwine, you're taking it and you're sacking it. You don't get to have your cake and eat it too. And I don't know about you, but like I like eating my cake when I have it. Just to put it out there. Just to put it out there.
The only card that caused me more frustration than this card.
I feel like you should be able to attack, but I get it.
It's Dwarven Driller, man. Honestly, the thing I don't understand, most people don't understand how to use their own card. And
there was a time where it was doing everything with no downside.
What, Dwarven Driller?
Dwarven Driller in high school.
Yeah, people thought they could do both, right?
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like it's an uncommon.
Like
it's an uncommon.
No, people misread it that they thought they had to have Dwarven Driller to stop it from.
I will say this though, there's a lot of Magic cards that could be worded better. Like there's an essay on this card, and the mistake can still be made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of cards like that, especially when you're just starting out, that could be worded better. Other end is self-explanatory. Like you're just exiling an online permanent.
Yeah, it's just too good.
Sylvan Reclamation, exile up to 2 target artifacts and or enchantments. And has basic land cycling. And it's an instant. That's key.
It's very good.
That's key.
I mean, it doesn't even need the land cycling.
So this is, in these colors, it costs 1 more, but this is a strictly better version of, what is it called? It's the white one. You can exile 2 if it's your main phase.
Oh, yeah.
This costs 1 more, but it's strictly better in these colors.
Yeah.
Right? And it's never dead because it has basic land.
There's a green one that puts them on top of the library, but I think that's only artifacts, right? Or is it?
There's 2. The main one is put an online put a non-creature permanent on top of their library.
Yep.
And you can choose 1 more thing to do with that.
Oh, okay.
You choose 2 things. You can gain 7 life or tutor for a creature or shuffle a graveyard. That's probably the one that gets used the most. I forgot the name right now. But this seems good. I like this. I've never used this before. Is it new? I don't feel like I've seen it before.
It may be new. I haven't seen it around. Divergent.
So this is new. Undaunted, 7 mana. It's equivalent to the extra turn, control turn thing. So exile 2 target creatures. For each of those creatures, its controller reveals cards from the top of his or her library until he or she reveals a creature card. Puts that card onto the battlefield and shuffles the rest into his or her library. I'm gonna have to read this again.
It's basically a double Cyclonic Rift, but only for double. Sorry, what's the
Chaos?
Double Chaos Work, but only for creatures.
Okay. Alright. It's an instant, so that's good off the bat. It's a 6 mana card, unless you're Goldfish.
Yeah.
Exile 2 target creatures. For each of those creatures, this controller is... Okay, yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying. But this exiles.
Yes, it exiles, yes.
So that part is stronger.
Yeah, that part.
But again, like you said, it's just for creatures.
Yeah.
And again, red doesn't have that much destroy creature cards. Or exile creature cards.
The thing is, they're guaranteed to get a creature back.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. But we've talked about this. I mean, it depends. If you're exiling a Solemn, you deserve whatever happens to you. Right? You deserve whatever happens to you. But like if you're exiling Iona,
you don't really care what comes back.
Yeah. Anything that comes back is better for you. And we got Order Chaos here, so you either exile an attacking creature or creatures can't block this turn, or both. And we got even enchantments, more enchantments in this one. Skull Clamp. So I usually prefer the new art to the old art on most cards. The original Skull Climb art's the best art.
It is.
Even though this is cool and it makes sense, I can see what's going on. The original Skull Climb art's just, it's godlike. Soul Ring, Conqueror's Flail. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each color among permanents you control. So we've seen a few creatures there that attack and pump or get tokens and stuff. This can easily give +4/+4.
Yeah, I mean, in the second part of the ability too.
As long as the flail is attached to a creature, your opponents can cast spells during your turn. That is really friggin' strong. And it's 2 to cast, 2 to equip.
Yeah.
That's really strong. So there's no combat tricks to be had.
No, I mean in this color when you're playing this many colors,
yeah,
it becomes very strong.
I mean, if your commander's out, this is just a +4/+4.
Yep.
Damn. Fellower Stone, Signet, Greaves.
The boots.
The other one had Cloak.
Yeah, they don't have Cloak.
Which makes more sense for that guy.
For that deck.
Yeah. This guy is just like, alright, I can't attack you, I'm attacking the other guy.
If we're already dealing all that damage, he wants to attack too, man. He doesn't want to be left out, right?
But he can, right? In a big game, he just attacks someone else that can't block. And Sunforger seems really strong in here. We had how many instances? 12?
12.
Yeah.
And they all Sunforge.
Every single
Almost
one.
Only the one does it.
No, all of them. Which one? All of them.
Is Sunforge 3 or less?
4 or less. Oh. Yeah, maybe not all of them.
What's
4 or less.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So it's all of them except for one then. There's the 1/5 casting.
The Sylvan Reclamation, yeah. So almost all of them are Sunforgeable. Blind Obedience. It's fine. Their stuff comes into play tap. And you can pay 1 to extort to gain the life and drain a little bit. Evolutionary Escalation, 2-mana enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put 3 1/1 counters on target creature you control, and 3 1/1 counters on target creature an opponent controls. Okay. Necrogenesis. Exile target creature card from a graveyard. Create a 1/1. This is good. I know there's one where they get the token.
I mean, this card is not as good as you think it is.
I know this. You play this against this deck and they're going to have some problems. when you exile their creatures. I know that much. And Beastmaster Ascension in this deck seems... It seems strong.
Beastmaster Ascension is ridiculous.
It seems strong. People always think it's not going to get to the amount it needs to as fast as it does.
Always does.
It always does. Sometimes it just takes 2 turns to attack it. Yeah. Everlasting Torment is a 3-mana enchantment. Players can't gain life. So that's just that's off right away. Damage can't be prevented. That's just off right away. And all damage is dealt as though its source had Wither. So -1/-1 counters.
Yep.
This was also in the other deck.
Yep.
Frenzied Fugue. And Breath of Fury. This is not
double tap. Not a new card.
No. Enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player. Sacrifice it. Attach to a creature you control. If you do untap all creatures, so you get an extra attack. And land should be similar. So this is just a card now that's going to be around.
Yeah.
Especially, it makes sense because these are all 4 color commanders. Yeah. So it makes sense. Cave, Command Tower, Summit. Did they put more rares in here than the other one? Exotic, Grand Colosseum wasn't even in the other one. This one seems a lot better equipped to hit your colors.
Yeah.
Like it just seems really equipped to hit your colors. Yeah. I don't know if this is on purpose or it wasn't reprinted, but this is the common version. Whereas the other deck, the Carolines were uncommon. Yeah. And I just hit in your triple colors. Mosswork Bridge? Nice. See, this is the uncommon version of the Caroline. So it's probably just an art thing on the site. I feel like the other deck didn't have all these rare versions of these dual lands.
I feel like it's a better build for stock.
So out of those two, which one would you play more likely? Yeah, this one stock I'd play more.
This one's a much better stock. I mean, the other deck seems like it does a lot of cool shit and then loses. To be honest.
And then loses.
Yeah. It's like, wow, I did all this cool stuff, but like,
I didn't win.
What really happened? Like, I made a bunch of people discard cards and draw new cards, and then like, I get hit for 11 and I die.
They just drew better cards than me.
Yeah. Like honestly, even if you Wheel of Fortune, like chances are their Wheel of Fortune is better than what you're gonna draw.
Well, if you're drawing 3 more Wheel of Fortunes, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? You're running like 8 in the deck.
Yeah.
And the creature that does it, so yeah, probably. So yeah, this deck seems a lot more fun. Saskia seems good. Saskia seems good. One more.
Yep.
Alright, so let's move on. How do you pronounce this? Kinaios, whatever. Of the trio. Of the
Antiro.
Kinos and Tiro of Melaris.
These are 2 dudes on 1 card.
That's like some Greek type shit.
That's some real Greek.
Anyways, red, green, white, blue. So for 2/8, human soldier. So I'm guessing you like this.
I like this. Yeah.
The other guy was a human soldier as well. The other chick.
It's good they're making more humans.
At the beginning of your end step, draw a card. Each player may put a land card from his or her hand onto the battlefield. Then each opponent who didn't draw a card. So, you draw a card. They can either put a land into play or draw a card.
Draw another card. Yeah.
And these are 2/8 for 4. Okay. Alright. It's not bad.
I don't like letting people put lands in.
I don't like letting people draw cards.
Personally, just any of those cards, I don't like. I just see it like just not working out for me.
I agree.
And the worst part about this is if they can't play a land, they get to draw a card as well. So there's no like, if they can't play a land, at least you're getting the card for free.
If they can, they're drawing a card.
Yeah, they're still getting something out of it even if they can't play.
Well, the biggest part for me is I'm drawing a card and saying go.
Yeah.
And they're drawing a card and taking their turn.
And having a land, or having a land in there. Yeah.
And then taking their turn.
Yeah. My thing is, if he's going to be that, he needs to be more aggressive. Like, he's a 2/8. Like,
he'd rather be a 4/6?
I'd rather him be a 4/6, 100%. Or a 6/4.
I don't think he'd be a 6/4. I don't think they're going for that. Maybe a 5/5.
Or something like that.
Meet in the middle.
Just not 2/8, man. Like, he just seems like... If you're giving them a card, like you said, after that turn, he needs to be some kind of threat, right? That not... They can take their card, do what they want, and say go. They don't have to worry about him. They can take the 2.
And let's be real, the 2/8 is not blocking everything in EDH.
Yeah.
Right? And plus, at 2/8, like, you can attack with 2 3/3s. You just be getting damage. I just personally don't like the fact that I'm drawing a card and saying go. That's my main thing.
And they're drawing a card.
And
right?
taking their turn. Yeah. That's why I don't like that part.
Yeah.
But let's see what the support is for this card. Veteran Explorer, good card.
Yep.
It's a great way to hit colors. Humble Defector. Sounds pretty scummy. 2 mana, 2/2. Draw 2 cards. Target opponent gains control of Humble Defector. Activate this ability only during your turn. That's very interesting.
I like this.
That's very interesting. Like, I'll draw it. It makes the flavor is good.
Yep.
So you draw 2 cards and this guy defects. This guy immediately defects. Okay. Alright, I like that card. Hushring Griff. It's not a new card.
No.
Flash flying creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities trigger, which is actually really strong.
Underestimated.
It's very strong. Orzhov Advocist. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Might be new. 3 mana, 1/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player may put 2 1/1 counters on a creature he or she controls. If a player dies, creatures that player control can't attack. Wait, hold on. What? Let me reread this. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player may put 2 1/1 counters on a creature he or she controls. If a player dies, creatures that player controls can't attack you or a planeswalker you control until your next turn.
I don't understand that.
Why is this worded like that? I don't understand this card.
At the beginning of your upkeep, each player puts 2 1/1 counters on each creature he or she controls. Oh, if a player does, creatures.
I thought it said dies. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
okay.
You're reading.
Yeah. All right. That makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Chasm Skulker is not new either. It's a good card. Whenever you draw a card, you put a 1/1 counter on him, and when he dies, you get X 1/1 blue creatures with Island Walk. It's a good card. I don't like this guy. Puts bribery counters on creatures you don't control. They draw a card, but bribery counter creatures can't attack.
Or block them.
Because they're bribed.
Oh, okay. I mean, theme-wise, it's interesting.
It is. I don't like him, though. I mean, you're giving them cards when you do the thing, too. Yeah. So it's not, like, just one-sided. Ludovic's not new either. At the beginning of each player's end step, that player may draw a card. If a player actually, this is new. What am I saying? It's one of the partner cards. If a player other than you lost life this turn. So at the beginning of each player's end step, that player may draw a card. If a player other than you lost life this turn. So if you did damage, or if someone did damage, not to you.
Yeah.
What do you think? As one of the partner cards.
I don't know.
I had to read that one a couple times.
I gotta sit back with that one. My first opinion of it is, how does it exactly function?
I know a deck it could go in though. It's not mine. But it definitely made people attack someone else. It rhymes with Nin.
It's basically getting people to attack other players.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know the exact deck that's going to go into. Where are we?
Edric. Oh no, this guy.
Selval. This isn't a new one either, but this was good when it came out. It's still good.
We got Edric, Spy Master of the Trust.
We all know how good that one is.
Just take this one in for a second, and then we'll move on to the next. Then we got Acheron Horse. It's 4 for a defender. When Acheron Horse enters the battlefield and an opponent gains control of it, at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent creates a 1/1 white soldier token. So basically, you play it, someone else gains control of it, and then all other players get a 1/1 token at the beginning of your upkeep, of that person's upkeep. Then we got Selfless Squire. It's 4 for a 1/1 human soldier with flash. Whenever Selfless Squire enters the battlefield, prevent all damage that will be dealt to you this turn.
That's good.
Yep, and whenever damage that would be dealt to you is prevented, put that many 1/1 counters on Selfless Squire.
That's really good.
It's good. I want to say really good. It's good.
I like the art on this card a lot, for some reason.
It's interesting, yeah.
You don't think this is really good?
I think it's good. Not really good. I mean,
you choose the turn to do this, right?
You choose the turn to do it.
It could be big.
Yeah. I mean, I would like a lot more if it prevented damage, not just to you. I mean, you can't help your creatures. Like, you can't stop damage to your creatures.
No, you can't.
But, I mean, it's still good.
But, I mean, you don't need to block if you have this.
No, you don't. No. But, I mean, like, if you're facing something with red that deals X amount of damage to all your creatures, you save your board, you get something else big. I think
it's just a human soldier. It can't do everything.
I know, I can't do everything, but cards like this, it seems to me in practice, that you get these scenarios in your mind, and then they never play out in these epic. And the epic scenario never. They do play out, but very rarely. There's a lot of scenarios where like this sits in your hand. You're like, I wish I had a threat.
All I'm gonna say for this one is, this isn't what the hell is the name of that?
What, Mirror Strike?
That 4/7.
Revelar?
Pit Lord?
Pit Lord?
Yeah. From the Scourge block.
Oh, Gerard?
It's not Gerard.
4-7 Pit Lord. Jareth the Old Titan.
Yeah. You said Gerard.
Like I said Gerard. Yeah. Jareth.
Yeah. This is not like that, right? That guy was a warrior. He's a beast.
Yeah.
This is a squire, right? This guy, she's not at that level yet. She's protecting one person, and that's you. That's it. That's all she could do, bro. Yeah. So that's why it makes sense as a squire flavor-wise. Like, this is all I can do. I can protect one person this one time. And that's it. And I learned from this experience, and now I'm stronger. That's it.
Fair enough.
That's how I look at this card. I think if it was able to do that, it'd be a lot different card. It'd be a different card.
Yeah, it probably costs more.
Wouldn't have a second ability, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100% would not have
would not have a second ability. I just think this could be a really big card. Windborn Muse. Yeah, it's definitely a good way to make the game last longer. I mean, there's not much to say. It's a good card.
Just a good card, yeah.
Okay, so this is another one of the partner ones. 4 mana, 2/5. I already like that.
You have more flanking.
They brought flanking back.
So unnecessary.
Creatures your opponents control without flying or reach can't block creatures with power 2 or less.
Well, without flanking. I thought you were explaining the flanking ability.
No. This is not a bad card. This is actually pretty solid by itself. I don't crave flanking. I don't crave mechanics where I have to think about more things like that in that aspect. But this one is a partner card. It seems pretty decent by itself. I mean, you're never going to win through commander damage with the ability on the card or anything. But, you know, it seems solid. Horizon Chimera is back.
Oh my god.
So Psychosis Crawler is a good card.
You're just going to skip Zedru?
You're just going to blue deck.
You're just going to skip Zedru? Honestly, you know what's funny? When we brought the commander up, Zedru was the first thing that came to my head. And I was trying to block out the bad memories of that. And sure enough, they put
it's there.
It's just that kind of deck. Like, what?
Well, we've seen that. You're trying to make people not attack and everything. It's just... you want the game to last for 3 hours.
You don't want anyone to go home.
You don't. You don't want anyone to go home.
It sounds like you're lonely and you just want to stay here. We'll just flip cards all day.
So we'll just skip that one. Again, this guy's making tokens to block with.
That card's just
But this guy's... At least he's a 5/4.
That card is just good.
At least he's a 5/4. Right? I play him in my mono red. He's a substitute commander in that deck. So another one of the partner cards. 5 mana, 4/4 flying haste. This is a good body right
This is very good.
This is zombie warrior with flying and haste?
No, for zombie horror.
Horror, okay, that makes more sense. Whenever an opponent casts his or her spell each turn, draw a card.
Oh, I don't like the non-black horrors either. But I'm sorry,
Well, it's because the crossover in blue, right?
Yeah.
That they had with the brother and sister and stuff. So you had zombies going over in blue.
Okay.
One was making zombies from Resurrection, which is the OG, the style we're used to.
Yeah.
And then the brother was making zombies from Science.
Okay.
Stitching parts of dead bodies together and stuff. That's how.
And that's like something not a zombie print. I don't know what that.
That's some kind of abomination.
Yeah, it's an abomination. I'll take creature type abomination then, man.
Don't worry, you take the zombie.
Yo, abomination is one of the greatest creature types too.
Abomination is legit.
Like, we don't know what you are, but it's not great. You're an abomination.
I know you're a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Realm Seekers is a 6 mana. Realm Seekers enters the battlefield with X one of 1 counters on it, where X is the total number of cards in all players' hands.
Wow. And
these are counters. You know, I'm looking at these cards and I'm thinking that 3 mana black destroy creature card is looking pretty good.
No, but you lose
a lot. You lose a lot of life, though. You lose a lot of... You draw a lot of cards.
You would draw a lot of cards.
So pay 3, remove 1 of 1 counter from Realm Seeker. Search your library for a land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library.
What are you really doing with this?
I feel like you should be putting that land into play.
That's what I'm saying. This seems like you just put a bunch of lands in your hand. like, you're thinning your deck, I guess. I mean, he's a big creature, but like, I feel like you get more effective.
How is this even an elf? this seems way too big and cumbersome to be an elf.
It's awkward. I mean, it fits in the deck because awkward, but
that's exactly what it does. Is it fits in an awkward deck by being awkward. Yeah. I know someone's gonna be, oh, this card's great and it's broken or whatever. This card seems like doo-doo.
You'd have to put so much work to make this card work that it's just like there's much better. With that much effort, a lot of other cards could do a lot of better stuff.
And honestly, this is what I see happening with this card, right? You play it, everyone counts how many cards are in their hand. You put 4 dice on it, and then someone says, end of turn, kill this creature. This is at least in our play group, that's the most likely thing I see happening. Is someone saying, end of turn, kill your creature.
Yeah, very big vanilla creatures. They come not to be as great as you think they are.
Okay, Rebel Hulk's good.
Yep. That's not even talking about it.
So, this card doesn't usually live very long in our play group for obvious reasons. I'm sure it's the same with most people. I don't think we need to say it's a good card because everyone knows it's a good card. Blazing Arc, this deck's really just trying not to end the game. This card can end the game.
Yeah.
But it's definitely there to make sure you can't end the game.
From my scene Zedru, I knew I wasn't going to be happy with the rest of the deck list.
You keep bringing up Zedru, and I purposely skipped right over that card. So we have 11 sorceries in here. Mind's Aglow. Collective Voyage. I like Collective Voyage, actually. Cultivate. I don't think you should be running a 4-color deck with green and not run Cultivate or Kodama's Reach or both. This deck's running both. It's actually I'm surprised to see that these weren't in the previous deck, but it ran a lot of creatures that did similar things, and it's more based on creatures.
I think the other deck was trying to be faster too, right?
Yeah, and just a lot of creatures. Yeah, right. So
I think there was some ramp in there too, but it was more the 2 casting cost ones, I think.
There was a couple. Yeah. Most of the early ramp was from creatures like Tribelder and stuff like that. Oh, yes,
that's what it was. Yeah.
Tempted Discovery. I don't want to read that right now. I don't think it's a new card, but you can go ahead and read that one, PTP.
It's a tempting offer. Search your library for a land card and put it into the battlefield. Each opponent may search his library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield. For each opponent who searches a library this way, search your library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield. Then each player who searched a library then shuffles his library.
So this isn't a new one. I'm pretty sure this already existed. What I will say about this card is Wizards needs to stop writing essays on cards. Like that card is all text. The whole thing is text and like a smaller text too to fit all that in. Solid card. It does say land, not basic land, right? Yeah. Wave of Reckoning. I don't know if I've seen this before. Each creature deals damage to itself equal to its power.
I feel like it's not new. I'm not positive, but
this could be a board wipe easily.
I mean, unless they have more power than toughness.
Unless they have more
toughness than power. I mean,
yeah, yeah. But a lot of times they don't, right? Yeah. I mean, if you're running Shieldred and stuff, then you're laughing.
Well, if you have a 2/8 commander.
If you have a 2/8 commander, well, this whole deck's designed to be that way.
I think this deck is designed to get someone very angry. Like, I'm not playing with.
I'll say this, even though we're only halfway through this list, I'm not. This is not one of the ones that I'd be personally playing.
This is not even personally playing. I don't even want to play against this deck.
I don't want to see this in my play group. I know a specific person in our play group that would play this, and he's the host. So he's the same guy that played.
If you play this card, you better bring a lot of beer because we're gonna be there a long night. It's gonna be a long night.
If someone plays this, we're doing the pentagram shit.
But this is the kind of deck that could slow down even the pentagram.
It could, but you know what? I'm gonna work around that person a bit at least. So, alright. See, did we even read this? Create 4/1 white bird creature tokens with flying and basic land cycling. Seems fine. Seeds of Renewal. So this is the equivalent. Return up to 2 target cards from your graveyard to your hand. I like this. It's 6 mana or less.
It's 5 in the most because it's undaunted.
Well, it costs 7.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, they all cost 7.
6.
So 6. It's 6 or less, and you get 2 cards back.
Yeah.
It's good, right? Most of the cards that do regrowth is the strongest one, and they're never going to do that again.
Yeah.
But after that, it was like 4 to do it, 3, 4 to do it, and stuff. So this is right on curve at worst. And if you're playing this for 3, you're laughing. Also, big. Okay, it's a sorcery. Never mind. I thought it was an instant. But yeah, this is good. I like this a lot. Reverse the sands. Redistribute any number of players' life totals. You know, if this was gonna be in a deck, this is the one, right? This is the one that would be.
Well, I mean, you're not doing anything, so you're probably
taking attacks.
You're probably taking a lot of damage because people want to kill you. So when they try to kill you, you play this.
So strong card. Especially strong cards.
Have these cards ever worked? I've never played in a game where something like this has worked. I've seen it attempted to work, but it never worked as planned. Usually, it just ends up prolonging the inevitable.
Well, what you have to understand is this deck's not trying to win the game.
That's true.
We're trying to make the game not end here. So let's move on from that. Another crossover, Treacherous Terrain.
3 straight decks has been in.
Yeah, Blasphemous Act. We all know that's a good card. Most times it just says destroy all creatures.
Most times.
We have 9 instances in this one. Swords.
Wow.
Huh. Well, there you go.
That is...
Swords?
Like, what is their reasoning for putting swords over Path in this? I mean, it seems like Path is a more modern card, right?
I'm telling people, Path is a stronger card in a lot more formats than people give it credit for. I'd rather make someone gain 6 life in the EDH than get another land. Personally.
You're saying swords is a stronger card.
Now, yeah. For this, I'm just saying I wouldn't want someone getting a land from Path.
So, yeah, so I mean, that's probably why this. That's what you mean. You're saying sword is a stronger card than Path. You said it the other way around.
In most formats, I think Path is stronger.
Yeah, but Path gives them the land.
It does. In this format, I wouldn't want to give them the land.
Okay, so you're saying in EDH you think Sword is stronger, but in normally you think Path is.
Yeah, and I don't think this deck wants to give them the land.
This deck doesn't care if they're giving them life.
No, it doesn't.
No, because they're not dealing any damage anyway, so...
It doesn't care if you get life. You're going to switch your life totals with theirs anyway.
If you draw, yeah, of course.
So we have 2 counters here. Swan Song counters enchantment, instant, or sorcery. You give them a 2/2, which doesn't matter anyways, because they're not doing any damage through your muse and stuff. Arcane Denial, you counter a spell. People draw cards. Benefactor's Draw. Untop all creatures until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent control blocks, draw a card. Draw a card. Never seen this before.
Yeah, I think that has to be new.
Yeah, I think so.
I like this. I really like this card.
It's an instant.
Yeah, okay, it has to be instant, but I see the potential for a lot of card drawing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I like. Oblation.
Oh my god, I love this card. It's very versatile. I mean, great flavor text.
You can do it to your own stuff, guys. You can do it to your own stuff. You can save your stuff and draw cards.
Honestly, the best part is reading the like. All they have is in that bowl, like, and they're giving it to you, like.
Sounds pretty stupid. Speaking of good cards, Beast Within.
But they get a 3/3.
I don't think it's gonna matter when you have a 2/8. Okay, if they have 1/3/3, the 2/8's really good. It's really good. Entrapment Maneuver. This sounds like something a deck like this would play, right?
Yep.
It's 4 mana instant. Target player sacrifices an attacking creature. You create X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens, or X is that creature's toughness. So they sack their thing and you get a bunch of creatures. I'm assuming to block with, attack with.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because technically, this is happening before block phase.
Yes.
So even on that turn, you could do things.
Yeah.
This is actually a really good card. Now, they're probably going to sack their crappiest creature.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe a 1/1. Well, no, your opponent's a good player. They don't have 1/1s.
It has to be an attacking creature too, right?
Yeah. So. Your opponent doesn't have 1/1, so it's probably going to be a big
and creature. Chances are they're not attacking with the 1/1 unless it's token.
Yeah. Well, you have a 2/8. So
yeah.
Definitely not. Reigns of Power. This isn't new.
No, it's definitely not new.
Untap all creatures you control and all yeah, okay, it's not new. Sylvan Reclamation comes back. For artifacts, Soul Ring, Imperial Plate, +1/+1 for each card in your hand. That brought
Why
that
is
back.
that even in the deck?
So your 2/2, so your 2/8 can become bigger and block stuff.
This deck just gets me more angry. Of course, Howling Mind is in here.
Howling Mind? Well, what kind of group hug deck would be complete without Howling Mind? Alright? Commander Sphere. Temple Bell. Each player draws a card. You know what? I'm laughing because it seems like whoever's playing this would have fun. I wouldn't have fun playing with this deck. Personally. Assault Suit. Is this new? Assault Suit. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 in haste. Can't attack you or a planeswalker you control and can't be sacrificed.
So they can't, if they steal it, they can't attack you with it.
But why are they even giving their creature haste? They're not attacking. I guess they're just protecting their commander.
What? The creature gets haste. If you equip it, the creature has haste.
But I'm saying, why are they giving haste when they're not attacking?
Oh, in this deck, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We're looking at the context of this deck.
But yeah, again, it's actually not bad.
Yeah.
For the reason you said, right? At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may have that player gain control of a creature until...
Oh, look at the second ability.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Shenanigans. So they can attack other people.
No, but the second ability too.
That's what I was reading. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may have that player gain control of a equipped creature until end of turn if you do untap it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you let them attack someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like what this deck would
be doing. Yeah.
I actually like this card. All the bullshit aside, I actually like this card. Prismatic Geoscope. Enters the battlefield tapped for 5. Oh, domain. So add X mana and any combination of colors to your mana pool, where X is number of basic land types among lands you control. So it can tap for up to 4 in this deck.
Yeah.
Venser's Journal. It makes sense. You know, gain life. No maximum hand size. Which, even though I don't like this deck, this is just a good card. I played in a couple decks.
It's just a good card.
Keenan Stone. Oh, this is a win con. Pay 5. Target player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, where X is the number of cards in that player's graveyard. This is definitely a win con.
I guess it's a win con, yes. You can do
it. Still win 5
turns. The game's gone on for 2 hours and they have a ton of cards in the graveyard all of a sudden.
This can win in about 5 turns. Like, without not too much cards in the yard. Yeah. And enchantments, we have 8. Sure. I don't see why this wouldn't be in there. Oath of Druids is actually in this deck. Wow.
What?
That's a surprise. I never thought I'd see this in any commander deck. But okay. That's a surprise for me.
Go to the next one?
Yeah. So we're gonna run it out with cards you'd expect. White Ghostly Prison, blue Ghostly Prison.
This is pretty standard for this type of deck.
Yep.
And we got Rights.
It's another hub card, but I like Rights a lot. Sphere of Safety, which is another prison.
Yep.
Lurking Predator is actually pretty good. And Hoofprints of the Stag.
We're getting to the lands. Ashburn again. is a theme. Command tower is a given for any commander deck.
You'd hope so.
If you got it. Exotic Orchard again, which has been in all the decks so far. Forbidden Orchard isn't in this deck though, which is interesting. I guess another hug card. The Frontier. We got the Gruul Turf. Homeward Path. This deck seems to be somewhat concerned about people stealing permanents that you don't seem to have many of. That's why I don't wonder, like, why all the protection? Like, what is gonna really be stolen in this deck? Like,
I like that card. I like
card. It's very good. Scroll down a bit. We got the Monastery. Opal Palace. Rupture Spire again.
I find it interesting that there's not, like, Opal Palace. It wasn't in the other two decks we looked at.
Yeah.
So they're trying to keep some stuff away from each other in the decks.
Yeah.
To give it some identity.
Exactly.
Your card Rupture Spire is back.
Yep, we got Rupture Spire back. We got the Seaside Citadel. We got the Sanctuary. Terramorphic Expanse. We got the Transguild Promulgate. And we just got Plains.
Is that wording exactly the same as Rupture Spire?
I think so.
Same card, right?
Same card in effect, yeah. It's basically the same card. Different wording, same effect. Two ways to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Basically.
I think we'll wrap this stream up here. Probably try to do the other two another time. But yeah, we did. It's actually called Stalwart Unity.
Let's do one sample hand from this deck. Let's see what will we draw if we actually bought this deck. We get Soul Ring.
This is a really good hand. you have a counter. You can turn 2 Ghostly Prison. You have 2 counters and you can turn 2 Ghost. I don't know, man. This deck might be winning.
Maybe we were mistaken.
We might be mistaken. But yeah, we did Stalwart Unity, Open Hostility, and Entropic Uprising. So we did leave 2 out. We might try to do that another time. Breed Lethality, which I like this commander a lot, and Invent Superiority. Thanks for watching. You have something to
actually let us know which one of the decks you like or which one you've bought or planning on buying, and
yeah,
we'll see you guys in the next video.